my friends. Welcome to another edition of the Everyday Guy Podcast. I am your host, Rudy Marquez, and this is episode 17. 17. Um, I'm getting up there, man. I'm trying to make it past 10 hours. Um, I'm just trying, I'm trying to get past 10 hours, and then I'm going to have my first, excuse me, damn, my first guest on. His name is Aaron Signs. Hell of a good dude. Um, just a legit head, man. I grew up in Whittier, California, and I went to Cal High, and man, there was a first experience for me, first experience going to high school that involved him and another guy, which I won't mention because I haven't spoke to the other guy in quite some time, but it was a really close friend of Aaron, and I won't speak of the situation unless Aaron wants to, talk about it. But when I do have him on, I'm super stoked. He was like an ex punk rocker, not even ex. I shouldn't say ex. It's probably a diss, like a you know what? Cancel this. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Everyday Guy Podcast. I am your host, Rudy Marquez, and today is May 8th, 2020, and it is 11:21 p.m. It's late, and I'm tired, but you know what? I really wanted to get this podcast in today, so I am going to do it. This is episode 17, called My Day. Obviously, I'll be having a segment going over how my day's been and just different things I've been experiencing today. But it's been different. I think adjusting to this whole coronavirus is like a true. I don't know if people understand, but this is going to change everything. The coronavirus is going to have an everlasting effect on how education is going to be performed. Um, I strongly feel that we will need to have classroom size caps and a maximum capacity of maybe 25 kids because you can't have freaking 35 kids in a classroom anymore. That's ridiculous. So what's going to happen is we're going to need more teachers, which we're already short on. We're going to need more classrooms, which we're already short on. We're going to need money for this, to pay the teachers, to get these classrooms, to get these new students in there, to follow through with the turnover. There are going to be teachers that do fail, and you have to make up for that. You have to take a loss at times. So it is going to have a crazy effect. Because really, what are the school districts going to do when they need the money? They're going to go to their federal government. What has the federal government been doing? They've been printing money like it's a fucking newspaper. You know what I mean? They ain't got money to be fucking giving to education after all this shit is over with. We are. I just watched a video on. We are fucking past the Great Depression rates of unemployment. It's ridiculous. Something like 20 million. 20 million are out of work. Gosh. They were showing food lines and food banks of like all kinds of people that just have never had to accept free food like that before. You have a clash of different cultures in it, and I think that symbolizes what America really is. Once we get hit with something that sees no race, sees no color, then we need to stand as one. You know what I'm saying? You got half the country, not half the country, but you got a small percentage of people that are coming out and vocally, expressing their disagreements with Governor Newsom's his phases to reopen the country. They're not happy about it. It's not quick enough. But who's to say? Who's to say? The last governor that had to deal with the pandemic? Should we listen to Arnold Schwarzenegger? People have to look at the silver lining in this is that we can come as one. And we're all in it together, and we're all gonna change. Whether you like it or not. I'm never wearing a fucking face mask. When those percentages get higher, people that can, take harm to coronavirus, yeah, I'm gonna wear a mask, I'm gonna protect myself. If not just for myself, I don't want to carry that shit. I don't want to, I would feel tremendous guilt if I was responsible for bringing it to someone that I loved. That is still a possibility. So I understand your distaste or your disagreement with where we are with the opening and how locked down we've been, but we really have a lot to take into consideration. And people have to be able to toughen up, stick it out a little bit. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying everyone can do it. But I'm saying we got to change the mentality. We can't just sit there and be pissed off all the time. At what point do you think of the positive way of handling that situation? If you were in office, what would you do? Well, I'd fucking open the country right away. And I'd let everybody uh, do whatever the hell they want, And then you're going to have to answer to a rise. I think they did eight states that have opened a little faster than most. They've seen a rise in their coronavirus outbreaks. It's like I think people want to discount the facts sometimes, but shit, man. Um, sometimes you just gotta call it what it is, and that's the truth. This is where we're at. We're stuck. Trump's not gonna always make the right decision. Don't put all your faith into the government. Believe in yourself. Believe in those around you. Get involved in local politics. Get involved in local politics. You want to make a fucking difference in your life immediately? Go to a hearing. Go to a public bidding for contractors to bid on development that's going to be happening in the city. You can go see how treacherous things are. Listen to what the community tells the board or the city council. By board, I mean like an education board within your local school district. If you have kids in a district and you're not involved with the district, you can't really comment on things that are going to affect them. Because do you really care? That's a harsh reality of life, but if you want to make an immediate change in your life, through politics, follow local politics. Follow the people that are trying to run for these city councils. You may see some darkness to it. You may see that city council members, propose different ideas for or let different contractors know what development is coming before the public actually gets to bid on it, and they might be able to get an incentive from that construction company if they win the bid. Now, I can't remember which president. Herbert something. President Herbert. He said, you should never get rich in politics. If you're rich and you go into politics and you've already established yourself, there's nothing negative you can say about a man or a woman that does that. But if you're in politics, like Nancy Pelosi, who was she very public about her struggle to make it to there, to the head of the house right there, but she's fucking balling. You look at how long she's been in politics and how long she's had a position, a political position. Her net worth has just grown. I understand you do make more money with the different positions you do get voted into. However, that doesn't explain making millions of dollars. The president doesn't even make $1 million a year. I believe it's like 450,000, and Trump's not even taking it. That's pretty cool. That's dope. Elon Musk is selling all his shit. Says fuck possessions. I'm done with it. He sees it as a tool for people to attack him and make him feel small and materialistic, which is not the. Well, I agree with him. I don't think that's his aura. I think that he is a very well-off man who made his living. What's wrong with that? He didn't hurt people. There's other people in this world that have hurt people to make their living. Society is so stupid sometimes on the things we decide to get mad on. Really? We're getting angry that Elon Musk is selling all his stuff. Oh, well, he's going to make money off of it. That's his stuff. Those are his possessions. He is no longer going to have them. Yeah, he'll have the money. You can't sit on money. You need a couch. You need your table. You need your cars. He's going to rent out some apartment with him and his kids and live his life. That's what he chooses to do. Then, dude, get off his ass, man. Let him do whatever the hell he wants to do. Why do people have to comment? He wants to name his kid something. Let him name something. It doesn't bother me. There's no hair off my ass, man. Let him do it. Shout out Elon Musk, man. Do your thing. No judgment over here, brother. Do your motherfucking thing. Alright. We're going to move on to our first segment. It's going to be life experience. A new world. So, about 10 years ago, I remember the first time I stepped into a law firm. And not just a regular law firm, it was a firm representing some very, very interesting and important people in usually the West Coast, or typically the West Coast. I was just a dumbass 20-something kid, man, that started in the mailroom. It's funny because I began in the mailroom through like an outside company called Rico. They used to do like mail services where they would run your mailroom for your company or whatever, and they'd supply you with the people that are knowledgeable for running that. Anyways, you would when I first started out, I was like a sub, so I'm like covering all over LA where people may be, and or where the companies are. So they sent me to this law firm that I won't mention, and when I got there, it was just me and two other dudes in the mailroom, and they were super cool. We were all around the same age. Actually, they were probably a little older, maybe had like 4 or 5 years on me. But they were super cool and they were super accepting, and I got to meet the whole law firm, and the law firm was extremely accepting. The secretaries were older and they've been around the block, so they knew what they were doing and they worked a particular way, so they were not very like accepting and so kind at first, but over time I was able to win them over, and I earned their respect. So within 2 weeks of me starting there from Rico, I was offered a position with the firm. So I stayed, and I stayed in the mailroom, and so I stayed in the mailroom, and I busted my hump doing mail and just being like super polite and just getting my name out there. Everybody knew me right away, and the the office manager was like, "Hey man, can I pull you from the mailroom? I want to put you in like uh filing." Like they had, I mean, massive files. They had these awesome like sliding filing cabinets that I would go through every day, and I'd bust my hump doing that. And one of the secretaries was like, when I started out, I started in the file room, and one of the attorneys was like, if you're in here, you can see take a look at the reports, get familiar with what you're doing. And over time, I was like able to make it a process where I didn't really know what they were, but I knew where everything went, and I knew how the system was kind of moving within the firm, like who it went from, the secretary to the paralegal or the legal assistant to the attorney, and the attorneys are sending things back down, and it's just constant work. I mean, these attorneys, no bullshit, would be there from, about 6 in the morning to about 11, 12 at night, and just busting their hump on their computer, typing the whole time, calling, just always busting their ass, man. I made friends very quickly with two of the partners of the firm. They were two of the head partners, right under the like two senior ones that ran the whole firm. But they were very accepting of me. Uh, they really changed my life, man. They did a lot of things for me, not as an employee there, other than they watched me, and we had some great opportunities that they were able to bring to me that helped me financially. That obviously they've been able to donate a lot of this stuff you see here is because of that law firm and those two attorneys. So I am just indebted to them for that. They opened this new world for me of law and the behind the scenes and the like gruesomeness behind it, dude. Attorneys are vicious, and sometimes you got to deal with some very nasty things. I remember there was a case about a child at some point was abused, and I was in the mailroom at the time, so they needed like 15 binders of exhibits, and all the evidence and putting it together and things like that. Seeing those pictures repeatedly 15 times as you're going through this entire stack of them, it's ridiculous, and it'll pull strings on your heart, and that's a big reason I had to leave. Um, I I saw a lot that I probably should not have in such a short period of time. Um, I saw the viciousness of attorneys. I saw the malfeasance of attorneys. I saw that money is everything in law. There are those lawyers that come from nothing and truly believe in justice and the swift hand of justice. Then there's attorneys that just know how to work the system. They know what they're doing. They've been doing it for years. There's people that trust them. They have clients that I can't even pronounce some of their names. But I see how much they were, um, they were charged. Everything's rounded, 30 minutes or an hour. You know, the quickest conversations just add up. And the people that they represent, to them, their fees are nothing if they can provide them, say, freedom. Um, but it was an experience that I'll always remember. I can't say that it was always a great and pleasant experience, but it showed me a lot of hard work. It showed me what hard work can get you. it showed me just how manipulative people can be. You must be careful of the wolf in sheep clothing. And by that, I consider like a suit sheep clothing. I wear dress clothes Monday through Friday when I'm working normal, not pandemic shit. And there's a change. There's a huge change in the way people talk to you. If I'm dressed like this, people will not talk to me with respect. If I'm dressed in a suit or if I'm dressed in just a dress shirt and slacks, people will look at you like you have some type of possession. A possession that they don't have, maybe. And I saw that. I saw the negative uses of that. And it stuck with me. I'll say it was definitely a learning experience. Um, they taught me a lot about life and how to lose and win. And they tried to provide me with the best options I could financially. They took care of me when I was extremely down. Um, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. That means the world to me. And I'll always truly cherish them for that. Um, but it was just a new world that I was not expecting. And yeah, that's my new world. I suggest anybody thinking about going into law, do it. Just do it. You want to be a paralegal, do it. You want to be a legal assistant, do it. You want to be a secretary, do it. You can make a nice living, a proper living, and you can do something good. You might not always be able to provide the positive answer, but if that's something you want to do, you want to follow the law, do it. At least get the taste of it. You want to talk about it? I can tell you all my experiences. I won't say everything on here, and if you want to talk about it, it'll probably be in person because there's things I don't want to say. But if you want, want to have some information on what it's like to actually work in a law firm, not just the videos that they show, you can make a difference. You can be, a legal there's a lot of disrespect that goes into being a secretary sometimes. There's disrespect from being a paralegal. Attorneys will come down on you. You make a mistake and they find that mistake while at trial, it's not going to be good. You got to find those mistakes before. These attorneys do not make mistakes. And if you want to do it, you got to be persistent, you got to be very detail oriented, and you got to be able to focus for long periods of time. Long periods of time. You would learn that, I'm sure, in law school, I would imagine. But for me, I'm just letting you know, like, you got to put the time in. But that's with anything. So, moving on. Segment 2. Parenting. Dad's side. What? Dad's in the house. Who's in the house? Dad's in the house. What? Dad's in the house. Raising confident and independent girls. It's a trip. It's 2020 and we are in a different world. The adolescent years that I experienced is not the same as what my daughters will experience during their adolescence. For me, I had like a quick little example. I had a fucking Nokia brick phone at one point for about a year because I kind of got it at the tail end. I didn't have it for a long time. I remember the snake game. That shit was dope, dude. The green screen, no color, fucking sick. I bet there's one still on right now. Probably some hitman's using it. But so I had that. Then the flip phones came out. And I had like a fucking Razor, dude. I had a sick Razor. Then I got like the Nokia Slide. It wasn't like the Sidekick, but it did the same function. I just couldn't afford the Sidekick. And I had a Singular Wireless. Singular Wireless with a C. I think it got bought out by AT&T. No bullshit, dude. So, I had like a little QWERTY board under that slidey thing, like a full-on keyboard. And then boom, the iPhone comes out in 2006. 2006, I graduated high school. Excuse me. I graduated high school in 2006. So right when that iPhone came out, it revolutionized everything. I just remember learning about the heat detection. That you can't just press it with a pen. You would only be able to touch it with your finger. That was astonishing. 14 years go by. Look where we're at. We have the iPhone 11. That's nuts. The functions on the iPhone 11 Pro Max, whatever you want to call it, the big gigantic one, is 3 cameras. Fuck the heat sensitive. It's ultra thin with a new. It's just ridiculous. More memory than you could ever think of. I remember the 8 gigabyte iPhone came out. 8 gigabyte. 8 gigabyte. This video will probably be 8 gigabytes. It's ridiculous, but that's where we came from. So put this in terms of raising children. My daughter's 9 years old right now, and we have the iPhone 11 Pro Max out. 14 years, what will we have? What will we have in 14 years? It's changing everything. Our whole world is changing. The way I am using this to explain how difficult it is to raise independent and confident women is there is going to always be an influence of social media, an influence of friends. It's going to be a little more constant. When we were in school, coming up, if I got bullied by, the school dickhead, and I went home, I didn't have to deal with that school dickhead. We had AOL, but he didn't have my screen name. You know what I mean? He didn't have my AIM name. So I could leave that shit at school. Now, if somebody's being bullied, you're just going to get harassed on social media. And there's ways to block it now. These kids are fucking smart with their phones. It's changing everything. I remember how shocking it was to my parents that I was texting over calling people. They couldn't freaking understand it. Why wouldn't you call somebody? Now I look at my daughter and she texts because she doesn't want to text it up. Use her fingers. It's ridiculous. Evolution is going to change everything. So how is it that I still instill confidence in these women that are going to have influences in everything around? And I think the way I can do it is by my core presence during their core years. So what I mean is my daughter's 9 years old. She's starting to enter a little more maturity, and I've noticed it. She's finding her attitude. She's finding ways that she can possibly manipulate and move around, and she's not a bad girl, so I don't use manipulate in such a harsh term that I think society deems it, but kids manipulate. Every child does. And so she's learning these things. So I think for a father, I think a lot of fathers run into the issue of throwing their hands up once those girls hit 13, 12, 13, 14. When those girls need that man in their life the most is during those fucking years. I mean, they need them. They need a good father in their life, all their life. But during those core years, I can't stress it enough. So by me working on myself and being able to focus, being able to positively respond to things, and being productive through my conversations. There'd be so many times I'd get so frustrated and angry that I wouldn't be able to talk through my feelings. Now I'm able to catch that first thought, which I'll go over later in the episode. But my daughters, I'm doing that now, so I am ready and there for those moments. It's not going to be easy. I need to come to terms with that. It will not be easy. There's going to be things that my daughter will say to me that will absolutely destroy me. And there might be things that I misspeak of towards her. And it's going to be a learning experience. But what I'm doing now is, um, I hope, being able to prepare myself um, during those times. Because I will be there. I will be there. But there's a difference of being there positive or being there negative. And had I not done everything I've done, I take medication that helps me. I work with a psychiatrist every about 3 months. We're in great communication. I let her know when I have very bad episodes. I let her know when the medication makes me feel a little weird, and we've tried out a lot of different medications. So I finally found one that works for me, and I love it, and it's been helping me. It keeps me, you know, square between the square between the ears, and I enjoy it. It's not for everyone, but it's what I do. I also see a therapist. I speak with a therapist every week, once a week. Dr. Barbara. I get to speak with her, man, and it's just it helps me so much. There are days when I don't want to talk, and those are the days when I really need to. It's just I don't want to. But I need to do these things. The way I was living my life before, I mean, I was not some horrible, terrible person, but I had a lot of flaws and a lot that, had I just let it go unnoticed, it would have hurt the people around me. I don't drink anymore. Haven't had a drink in almost a year, and it's pretty dope. I wasn't like a crazy alcoholic, but it was not good for me, and I was on like medication all the time. So drinking on meds, horrible decision. Um, and it took a toll on my body. So I kicked that shit. I just chill, dude, and I noticed my friendships are a lot better. My personal relationship is a lot better with my fiance. My family relationship is a lot stronger. Not with all family members, but over time it will get better. Um, and most of all, I'm a better father to the girls. They're able to get to see a father that's able to think rationally, and a father that can overcome obstacles without folding or giving up or walking away. And I want them to be able to see that a man can communicate correctly, and there is a huge presence of respect that has to happen. Respect is everything in this world. So the things I do now is to hopefully be able to raise my daughters as confident and independent women, because that's overall what I want. You know, um, Confident but not arrogant, independent where they're able to be a leader and accept responsibilities of what a leader must do. And I'm hoping I can instill that to to my girls, and I think I'm doing that now. It's not easy. It's not something that anybody could do, but I'm trying, man. If I didn't, what's the point? You know what I mean? Like, what's the point of trying to keep going as a father, as like being there, but you're not really there because you're not really a good dad. You know what I mean? You'd probably be better if you left him, but you can also change that. But you kind of have to own it, man. You got skin in the game. You got to be able to say, hey, I'm fucked up. I got to fix some things. And the people around you must understand that. But if you're, just saying that and not doing what you need to fix them, these people ain't going to be around that much longer, dude. Trust me. Trust me. And if you're lying about how you're fixing things, what's done in the dark will always come to light, my friend. I ain't a religious person, man, but I believe in that shit. I believe that sometimes when you put something out there, it will come back to you in some way, some form. You might not even notice, but it will come back to you. So be real with yourself, because that's all you're doing is fucking yourself up. So take the responsibilities you need to. Um, Segment 3, I'll make it quick. It's just about my day. I constantly fight the struggles of having to fight this first thought that I have. Meaning, for me, my first thought is always irrational. It's ridiculous. It's usually extreme. Um, and I don't often give myself time to stop, think, take a deep breath, calm myself, let the anxiety kind of come down a little bit. I feel that sense of warmth once I feel the anger coming up and it's getting hotter and I'm getting more angry and my blood's boiling. Now I need to calm myself. It's a struggle I deal with daily. Daily. And there's different things that can upset me or trigger me that I might not even know. You know, my daughter can say something to me that just makes me feel such like a failure of a father, that she had this happen to her, or um, I would carry so much guilt if my daughter was in pain or hurt, believing that it has come back to me. You know, the bad I've done in the past has come back to me, and I've done bad. Trust me, I fucked up, man. I've hurt people. I've done stupid things, and I never want that to come back to me, let alone anyone I love, especially my daughters. So sometimes I would wear that guilt, and that would kind of fuel that first thought. Like if I hear my daughter say something that triggers that, my first thought is, I failed her. Oh my God, and I just crumble, you know? That first thought can change everything. It can change your whole day. It can change who's around you. In relationships, and I don't just mean personal relationships, I mean friendships and co-workers relationships and ex-partners that you might have to co-parent with. That's a relationship. You have to be able to communicate in a productive way. Sometimes what you say does not come out good. You know, I cuss a lot. I'm a son of a trucker, man. I've heard every word, and I cuss a lot. And when I used to drink, oh man, I would cuss like a mother freaker. But my fiance hates it. She does not like cussing. She doesn't like it in the house whatsoever. With the girls around, when the girls aren't around, whatever. She just does not like it. And that's an adjustment, right? That's something that I don't get angry at her for. Although I do curse, she is so understanding that if I'm making an effort not to curse and she sees me catch a word like, oh, mother, I'm sorry, that, effort means the world to her. And the fact that she can see that without coming down on me or making me feel like, I just told you this and there you go cussing again. You can't even do that right. She doesn't do that to me. And that's amazing. That's a proper working relationship. I'm not saying me and my fiance are perfect, but it's just a small example within a relationship. Now that can also work within, your colleagues. Give thanks for them, to them. People love to be thanked. It's a weird and stupid thing that people always overlook, but every response email, I always respond. I always say thank you for your email. Always. Thank you for your email. You're reaching out for something. I work in payroll though, so I see my department as a support department. So, meaning, we don't make anything. We just support the people that do. So when they do contact me, obviously it's regarding something important to them and I want to help them. So that's like my customer service background too, but people like to be thanked, and if people go long periods of time without being thanked or appreciated, they'll turn on you, and it won't be pretty. Sometimes it'll go so far that that person will not come back. But you can make differences, you can make changes, you can show them through your actions. If you're in a leadership position, please look at trying to be a servant leader, meaning there is nothing that your staff can't do that you cannot do. Okay? You must bring your staff up. If you were to disappear, that team should be able to operate without you. That's how it should be. I don't know if it is like that, but you can make it like that. Try it. Servant leadership. Being on the front grounds, front lines with your staff. You see something on the floor, you can pick it up. You don't always have to show your muscle. Oh, get that, please. Go get that, please. Even if you're asking kindly, you can get it.